just 2 weeks away from the Indianapolis Scouting Combine. I'll be there, and if you subscribe to this channel, you can be there too. I'm Jeremy Green of ESPN Radio Asheville and the Sportsocracy, and here's what we're doing. If you haven't seen our first four, we're taking every team in the NFL, running them through the PFF mock draft simulator, and now it's time for the number 4 team in our lottery order, the Arizona Cardinals. First 3 picks, exactly how they could go in April. 3 quarterbacks, Caleb Williams to Chicago, Drake May to Washington, Jaden Daniels to the New England Patriots. If that's how it goes in April, this is the easiest pick in the draft. At number 4, Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver out of Ohio State. I don't care if they bring back Hollywood Brown or not. Doesn't matter. A player that good, and to me, he is a no doubt, without a doubt, lock of the century of forever franchise player. He is exponentially better than his dad, and his dad's a friggin' Hall of Famer. He's big, he's fast, he's got great hands. He's the highest-rated prospect from old-timer scouts since Larry Fitzgerald. He's that good, and Arizona would be overjoyed to get him at 4. Their next pick, number 27 overall. This is a kid that I'm seeing a lot of conflicting reports on. I see him on the screen, which means I'm going to take him. It's Byron Murphy II, the defensive tackle out of Texas. People lost their marbles on Tavondre Sweat, at the Senior Bowl, and that's with good reason. He is an absolute house. The problem is the conditioning is not great, and I think you get a lot of the good with none of the bad with Byron, with Byron Murphy. He's not as big. He's not as great of a run stuffer, but I think he's a much better defensive tackle. This gives you a piece to slot into that Jonathan Gannon defense, and that's going to be a lot of what I'm looking to do here. That defensive line needs help. That defense needs help. But I'm going to keep giving pieces to the offense as well. Still have 5 picks. We're into the second round. It's number 35. I do look at Tyler Guyton here and go, if this was real, I would be really inclined to do that. The problem is I don't see any path that he's actually going to be there, and I don't want to do things that are just overly unrealistic, so I'm going to bypass that. Looking at Arizona, I've added Murphy, which I think helps the defensive line. I'm tempted to add more to the defensive line. It got better as the year went along. It was just very obvious that you didn't have as much talent as you wanted. And there's a player here that I think fits really nicely. You add him and Byron Murphy, and you're off to a hell of a start. This is one of the stars of the 2024 Reese's Senior Bowl, where we were in attendance. Darius Robinson, edge out of Missouri. The biggest knock on this kid is I'm not 100% sure where he plays. In the Arizona defense, I know exactly where he plays. And I now know that I have 2 pieces that can occupy blocks, let things happen back behind them, and I feel pretty safe of what they're going to be. I can't tell you either one of them is ever going to be a Pro Bowler. They have that kind of upside, but they have really safe floors. And that starts me with 2 pieces that I feel like would be, I'm not going to say an A+. I don't give A+s easily, but that's an A start to the first 2 rounds. You still have 2 picks in the third, actually have 3 picks in the third, and the first pick, one of the top 5 picks in the 4th round. I promise this is not my first day speaking English. I've just done a lot of these today. Number 66. I look at a lot of guys here. I've always thought they needed help in the secondary, and there just so happens to be a guy that's at the top of the board here who I think would be unbelievably good. He doesn't get enough credit because he played at Wake Forest. I have him as a top 6 corner in this draft overall. The numbers never shined through, but it seemed like every time they played good teams, minus Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman did not do nice things to him. There are people in jail for doing less than, but he had no help. They were trying to put him on an island and just call it good, and Keon Coleman killed him. But I love the kid, and I think he'd be a great value in the 3rd round. Caelen Carson, cornerback out of Wake Forest. Comes in immediately. He can help you against the run. I think he can be your number 2 corner off the jump. We dealt with the defensive line instead of the secondary, so you're not getting a no-doubt number 1, but I feel really – I think he has that high upside. I don't know that he has – I would say that's a 25% chance to become a legit 1 in this league. I would say there's a 90% or better percent chance that he becomes a legit 2 in this league. Caelen Carson there at number 65. 71, I'm tempted to go another I'm tempted to go another weapon offensively. But I'm not going to do that because there's a player on the board that I haven't been able to talk about, and I think his fit in Arizona is just really, really good. Jarvis Brownlee, had I not taken a corner with my previous pick, that would be a consideration here. There are some guys that you see when you come to the Senior Bowl, the Combine, anything where you're just getting really athletic things. There are some guys you just look at and just, that dude's an athlete from hell, and that's exactly what you get out of the guy I'm going to take here. It's Sione Vaki, safety out of Utah. He played running back, he played safety, and according to one of his coaches, his best position was slot wide receiver. This kid's just a damn football player, and I think he's going to be way better in the NFL than he was in college. Look, I'm not saying Utah was poorly coached. They weren't. He was asked to do a lot. In the NFL, he's going to come in and choose a role. He played 195 snaps in the slot last year. I think he could do that off the jump. Playing corner, he's kind of got that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson vibe to him. And some people say it's hat on a hat with Budda Baker. I don't agree. I would look to extend – I would look to get Budda Baker back in the room, get the contract situation settled, but that would not preclude me from taking Sione Vaki right here with this pick for the Arizona Cardinals, if it'll go, at number 71. That takes me to number 90, and I'll be damned if this didn't just go exactly how I wanted it to go. This is not an ideal running back class, but I have one that I think can be a stud in this league, and he just so happens to be the best player left on the board. It's Trey Benson, running back out of Florida State. You add him and James Conner. I would say Conner could be serviceable for another year. I don't think he's going to age particularly well. Trey Benson is a home run threat. Trey Benson is a really good receiving back. Trey Benson is a really good blocking back. He does damn near everything well. The knock on Benson, size is even ideal. The knock on Benson is that he always had so much help. He became the bell cow, and he always distanced himself from everybody else. But I'm not sure how he holds up to a full workload. In the NFL at this point, though, that's really not that big a deal. Because every team has two, and some have three, and I think he would be a valuable asset right here at number 90 to the Arizona Cardinals. Trey Benson, running back out of Florida State. There's a guy that I hope falls here. There's almost no shot he won't. Damn it. If I had it to do over again, I would probably have taken Christian Mahogany, who I really like out of Boston College. The reason I didn't is because I don't think it's realistic that he's going to be there. And these are the decisions that you have to make when you come into a draft like this. This is exactly what GMs go through. Could that guy fall? Could he still be there? Is there somebody else I would like? Because I do want to address some issues on the offensive line for Arizona. I think you're going to see Paris Johnson slide over to the left. I would really like to have an interior offensive lineman here. It's just a question of which one is it going to be. Matt Goncalves, he's fine. It doesn't do a lot for me. Cedric Von Prawn is a guy that I would be interested in. I've already given him to a couple teams. Zach Zinter, same thing. So I'm going to look at a kid here that I haven't talked about as much. A lot of people like him better than I do. And it's not that I don't like him. I'm not 100% sure what position he plays. And the reason I'm going to give him here to Arizona is he does something that is really attractive, and not many of these other guys do that. It's Beaux Limmer, center or guard out of Arkansas. He has scheme flexibility. He has position flexibility. I don't know exactly where he's going to play. He is a BDD, by the way, big damn dude. I think he's a center. And if he is a center, this is a tremendous value pick. I think it's a good value pick, even if he's a guard. Might have taken Zach Zinter or Cedric Von Prawn over him if that was what I was looking for. But I do think there's a merit to taking a guy that can play center that's really important. And I haven't seen great play there for Arizona. I think it's a need, not necessarily the biggest need, but when you have this much capital, you just got to improve the talent on the team. There you go. 4 rounds, Arizona Cardinals. I would have liked to have added an actual space filler, an actual true nose tackle. The problem is there are very few of those in this class. And Tavondre Sweat, the only place I could have taken him would have been 35, and I like Darius Robinson better early. And if I'm Arizona, I need players that can play right now. If he had been there at 66, I would have taken him. Red Sea, that was for you, because I know you're going to say I didn't take enough. Interior defensive lineman, I get it. It's just the way the board fell. There are a couple guys that I like in the later days, and this is still early. But if you look at the PFF grades, the only two they knocked me on were Beaux, Limmer and Sione, Vaki, both guys that I really like, and I like the scheme fit. But a B for Trey, Benson, A's for Caelen, Carson, Darius Robinson, Byron Murphy II, and Marvin Harrison Jr. That's the Arizona Cardinals. If you like this draft, if you hate this draft, if you just want to call me a big mulleted idiot, feel free to do that in the comments. If you got questions about players and their fit with the Arizona Cardinals, feel free to chuck that in the comments as well. I answer all those myself. And subscribe to the channel so you can see us live from Indianapolis, Indiana. It's only like an 8-hour drive, but we ain't driving. It's like an hour and a half flight. And we will be there from pillar to post for the 2024 NFL Scouting Combine. 3 ESPN radio shows, ton of YouTube content. Click that subscribe button so you can follow us all Draftmas season long. We got the draft. We got Christmas. This is our holiday. It's Draftmas, and it's yours right here in the Sportsocracy.